Moved right along.
He's a weirdo, but even when he was in the NFL before, he won.
My favorite online comment about this one is someone saying Dabo Swinney wishes that he came up with this line before Harbaugh.
Yeah, I agree.
That sounds like a Swinney line to me.
I kind of like Harbaugh. I don't know what it is, but I kind of like him. Cheated his ass off in Michigan, but,
Well, that didn't seem to bother you when I brought it up about Belichick yesterday.
They're paying the, college is different.
Why?
Because that prevents Penn State from winning.
All right, good point.
All right, next.
Speaking of Penn State, we'll get to Belichick. We got Will Levis. He's become a mainstay of this segment. I don't know. I think all of his press conferences kind of go viral. Whatever he says, I'm just kind of intrigued by. And he's had a brutal start to the season with turnovers. It's been tough to watch. The fans have begun after him. But once again, he's having trouble with his phone. Listen to what happened to him.
Yeah. I guess the thing I'm actually doing today is get a new phone number. I don't know how my number got out there to the fans, but I got a lot of texts. So that would be nice to shut that part of play behind me. And
that's out of bounds, man.
It's terrible.
If you'll remember, we talked a few weeks ago about Cooper DeJean getting a prank phone call the night of the draft. That was something that also happened to Will Levis. So this is now twice for Will Levis, where his number has gotten out to someone he doesn't know, for this time, a lot of people he doesn't know, and been leaked and led to him having a problem.
You know why this is happening?
Why is that?
He's giving his number to too many girls. So when he burns a girl or he ghosts her, she gives it to her friends and says, hey, mess with this guy. I'm telling you.
Steady girlfriend, man. He's had for like last 5 years.
I think they broke up.
They broke up?
Yeah,
I think Will Levis
is
blonde.
One from draft night?
I think Levis is single and ready to mingle.
Oh, my. Oh, well. Hey, listen, he's struggling. But I always wondered how Penn State football would have turned out if they had chosen him over Sean Clifford. Would they have won more? Would they have gone to a bigger bowl? I think he was a better talent.
In college, I just don't see it at the NFL level for him.
Maybe not.
And this all worked out for Levis getting the job, Willis getting traded, and Willis now being the quarterback for the Packers instead of the Packers having to turn to Sean Clifford. It's funny how all that ties together.
Really, but Will still has muscles. He's got muscles.
And he eats bananas with the peel on them.
Quarterback with muscles. Name one.
Donovan McNabb.
He didn't have muscles.
Donovan McNabb was always pretty jacked up.
He was kind of soft muscle.
He wasn't as toned as Will Levis.
Yeah, Will Levis
Hurts is in good shape.
Yeah, I guess Hurts.
Well, you're right. Mayonnaise. But yeah, Levis is probably the most shredded
of any quarterback.
Of the quarterbacks, yeah.
Of any quarterback in history.
You may be correct on that.
All right.
Well, we'll check the facts on that one. All right. I want a good Bill Belichick story just to upset Bill a little bit over there. Devin McCourty was talking this week about the time that he really bought in and believed in Belichick, and it has to do with Belichick's knowledge of the weather.
It's my rookie year. We're playing the Jets on a Monday night, so we're doing a nighttime walkthrough Sunday night before the game, and he grabs all the corners and he grabs me and he says, hey, when we're running down this sideline, the way the wind pattern is in our stadium going towards the open end, the wind whirls like this. So the ball's going to look like it's going further than what it is, but it's going to hit that wind and it's just going to drop. So when you're running on this side, make sure you turn around and get your head back. And I remember sitting there like, really, dude, the wind pattern? And sure enough, I get a go ball on that side against Braylon Edwards. I turn and then I look back at him and then I remember like what Bill said, I turn my head back, ball drops right in my lap, get an interception. From that point on, there was nothing the guy could tell me that I would be like, nope, I believe in everything. I was drinking the Kool-Aid heavy after that.
There you go, Bill. That's just for you. Attention to all detail, including a medical report from some other team.
Yeah. Look, I know I'm going to come off as a Belichick hater here. Is that big of a deal that he knows where the wind pattern is in the stadium? I mean, to me, I think that's something that every head coach should know.
You're probably right. It's attention to detail that probably all coaches would pass on, but this is the legend of Belichick. Now, as soon as he's out of coaching, he could do no wrong. He can say anything he wants. He's in demand. He's got attention to detail. He can say he cheated by getting the doctor to dime out a HIPAA, you know?
Yes. He could do whatever he wants. I will say, though, to give him credit, I saw something recently, some video recently, about Malcolm Butler's interception at the goal line in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And they were saying watching Belichick in real time not call the timeout because they were going to switch defensive personnel, and Belichick's just sitting there. I mean, it was impressive the way his mind works.
Yeah,
Bill Belichick.
I think he's overexposed though right now.
Oh, he's Kelsey
too much now.
Him and
Way
Jason
too much.
Kelsey and Travis Kelsey, they're everywhere.
Yeah. By the way, Jason came out against the new arena. What the hell does he have to do with this? What does he care about the arena? Why would he care? Well, I favor the arena where down there. Who cares what you think about it? You're a football player.
Well,
you had your own stadium down there. Salud.
It was another station that asked him his opinion.
Yeah.
And, I saw the clip circulating on social media. He tried to compare it to his days in Cleveland when Art Modell held the city hostage and then moved him to Baltimore. I don't think this is anywhere
Jason,
near relevant to
what
that.
standing do you have on this issue? All right, that's the news at noon. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We go. Oh my God, my old buddy Carlos from Colombia. Colombia, the actual country of Colombia, is on hold.
He wants to say hello, but how would you say that from Colombia?
Hola.
It's just a simple hola. They just speak Spanish.
Yeah, that's Spanish. It's not Brazilian.
Remember?
Hola.
Yeah, hola.
Johnny Clark.
John Clark.
Hola. 610-632-0975. Back after this. Show 97.5, The Fanatic. Don't forget, Fanatic's deal of the week is 2 adult combo tickets to the Bates Motel for the price of 1. Pretty good deal. 2 tickets for only $52. Halloween Thrills at the Bates, one of the most frightening haunted attractions in the country, located in Glen Mills, PA. Get this offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com. All right, let's go to Colombia and talk to my man, Carlos. Carlos, ¿cómo estás, mi amigo?
Buenos días, Mike.
¿Qué hay de nuevo en Colombia?
Oh, my God. It's been a while. It's been 8 years already since we talked, Mike.
Yeah, unbelievable. I'm glad to hear you calling back in.
I was moving to Florida, remember?
Yes, claro que sí.
Claro que sí. Man, listen, I was in Philly last week. My son lives there. He's going to be a dad, so they did the whole baby gender reveal. So I had to be there for that. And he told me, guess who's coming back? Your buddy, Mike Missanelli. Hey, he got a phone call. The last time I called you 8 years ago, he got a phone call from his buddy. He said, hey, man, I thought I heard your dad on the radio talking to Missanelli. They recorded it. I saved that on my files, and to the day I die, I have that conversation we had. And when he told me you were back, it was a must to call you and say hello, man.
Oh, man, listen, I appreciate it. Carlos, I've been planning a vacation to Colombia for a long time. I need you to be my tour guide if I come down there.
You should do a show from there.
You're not.
I'm inviting myself.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I'll make it happen.
So here it is. Carlos, you email me your info. My email address now here is mikemiss@bbgi.com.
bbgi.com. Let me write that down. Yeah, I definitely would like to do that, man.
That's beautiful.
You are like a family to me.
Oh, man, that's nice of you to say. It's good to hear from you.
Say that again, Mike.
Mike Miss.
M-I-Z, right?
No, M-I-S-S.
M-I-S.
Mike Miss at bbgi.com. That's my email here.
.com. I got it.
All right, beautiful. Now,
man,
are you following the Eagles down there?
I am. I follow the Eagles. I'm not an Eagles fan, but I follow them. I'm happy for the city. The only time I really didn't care for the Eagles were because I never liked Donovan McNabb. So those years that he were there, I was an Eagles hater. But I'm happy for the city. They got to win the Super Bowl. Everybody's happy. They got a lot of new coaches now, so they need to bear that. It's only 2 weeks.
Well, listen, they can't add a fan.
Yeah, I can be a fan.
No, they can. Eres.
I told you that before. I'm a Andy Reid follower.
Oh, Andy Reid. So you were a fan of the Eagles when Andy Reid was a coach?
Listen, Mike, I was a fan of Elvis Gorback, Rich Gannon. Montana was there, and my favorite player was Derek Thomas. So, Priest Holmes. So, I'm not a Van Wagner fan. I'm a real fan.
Okay, all right. You get a pass. All right.
Yeah, thank you. But I don't have no problem with the Eagles. They have a great team, and hopefully they finally get to win another one. But for the fans, those are real fans. They love that.
Yeah, I know. Are you a Sixer fan or a Phillies fan?
I'm a Sixers and I'm a Flyers fan.
A Flyers fan down in Colombia. Not much hockey down there, is there?
Well, I came to the States in '86, so I basically grew up here. Yeah.
Okay.
I love my Flyers. I love my Sixers. The Eagles and my baseball team is going against the Phillies this week tonight.
Oh, the Mets?
I know. My friends hate me.
Oh man, you're killing me now.
At least you guys win. We haven't won anything since I came here.
I know. You had a big night last night.
How is your family?
Family's good. My daughter got married last summer.
Oh, great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But listen, Carlos, stay in touch. Email me. All right?
Hey, man, it's a pleasure. I will do that. Thank you for taking the call. And if you still talk to Joe, the camera, tell him I say hello.
Yeah, we don't talk anymore. Nah, it's not a non grata in my life. Yeah, I think he was here when Sam Carlos called.
Oh, yeah. Where's Carlos at in Colombia, you know?
I think the last time I spoke with him was in, it wasn't Medellin. It was, where did it, in the movie, You remember the movie of Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, where she what was that called? It was like a thriller movie. What was that movie? You know what I'm talking about? It was like kind of a franchise movie. He was a thrill seeker, and she was kind of a conservative woman, and she goes on this adventure with him in Colombia. Oh man,
I don't remember this.
Yeah,
Michael Douglas?
Yeah, Michael Douglas, a younger Michael Douglas. Somebody will get on the chat board.
Oh, I know what you're talking. Is it him? And he's like, the cover of the movie's him on like a vine.
Yes,
Romancing the Stone.
Romancing the Stone. Yes.
How about that pull?
Yeah, and she was going to I can't remember where she was going, but I think that's where Carlos is. Where was she going?
I'll look it up. Romancing the Stone.
So I ended up at Chiefs, Mets.
He's a Chiefs and Mets fan.
Sixers,
He likes the
Flyers.
Sixers. He's a good man, Carlos. He's a great caller today. All right, let's go to Greg in Bethlehem. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
Hey, guys. It's hard to compete with the Colombia call, but, if Vic Fangio is stuck with the front four that he has, what options does he have? To run games and twists or bring...
Yeah, he's got to do some different things. You can't just like he says he's coming, he's improving, he's doing it, but sometimes you got to stir it up by doing some different things. I know he believes in his system, and there's one way to you want to get pressure in front four, and I understand that, but he's not getting that now. So twist it up a little bit. Send an occasional safety blitz.
You got to do something. I mean, those guys don't seem to be performing very well, and I don't know how quickly you can put those things in practice. But
he's right when he said yesterday, if you don't stop the run, you're not going to get to the quarterback because then there's short distance downs, and you can't pin your ears back, as they like to say.
Right. Well, do you have to go to a 5-man line to stop the run?
Might actually help.
Yeah, that's probably what he's gonna do this weekend.
That might help.
But you look at the Saints; they almost want you to do that. They come out in very heavy personnel, wanting you to load the box. Their offensive line's just been good enough that it hasn't mattered, and then they run that play action. But we'll see. We're going to find out how smart Fangio is this weekend because no one stopped the Clint Kubiak Saints offense in 2 weeks. So we'll see if Fangio can come up with a scheme. This is why he's the godfather of the Fangio defense. Can he figure this out?
Yep. All right. So on the other side, we're going to do our fearless picks of the week. I think I have some good ones, but I just can't help but put this out here because this is an example of the ramifications of yesterday's Phillies game. This Philly sports sufferer is constantly on here. I want to talk to this guy directly.
Yeah, you bring him up a lot.
Yeah, if you're the Philly sports sufferer, I need you to call this show because I need to have a dialogue with you.
Wait, this is on Twitter.
This is his tweet. Such a loser game from Rob Thompson. Inexcusable to not give your team a chance by not only starting Taiwan, but letting him pitch the fourth. I would be pissed if I was a player. Literally throwing this game. Malpractice from Topper. What was he supposed to do last night? You tell me. This is what I need to ask these people that want to pile on here. He is so desperate for anybody to give him some innings. His frame of reference was, well, Walker gave me 3. I don't have any other choice than to send him out there again to see what we can get. And if he blows up, I can't waste my entire bullpen. I've only got a couple guys who can pitch in a long roll. I don't want to use my high leverage guys because I got 3 more games against the Mets. What did you expect him to do last night? He's got to use the Ruizes and that left-hander, and he's got to use those guys up, but he can't use them up too soon.
I think Rob Thompson's hands were tied last night. I mean, he had to do this. He had to, and that's why it's frustrating. I want to talk to
this guy, Philly sports sufferer. I need to talk to you. And here's another one, Phillies baseball talk. I need to talk to this guy, whoever this guy is, too. I wish Phillies reporters would put an ounce of pressure on Thompson postgame about Walker. What? What pressure are you going to put on? Throw up his hand. What am I do?
There's no other option.
All right.
really isn't.
Coming up, picks of the week. Stay tuned. Our fearless picks of the week segment. We're both doing pretty well.
We
You're
are.
5-1. I'm 4-2. I usually throw 1 college and 2 pro in there, and maybe give you something under advisement that you can look at closely. So we will start with Bill Colarulo's picks of the week. Bill, what do you got?
All right, I always stay in the NFL. You like doing the college. I'm going to defer to you on the college. I'm starting in Indianapolis. The Chicago Bears at the Indianapolis Colts. Now, I know you're going to say this is probably a Bears line. The Colts are only favored by 1.5. I'm taking the Colts to cover that easily. I am not sold on the Chicago Bears.
Why would you be? Their offense stinks.
But doesn't that line scare you a little?
Yeah.
Only 1.5?
A little bit. I would stay away from bad teams.
So that's my first pick. Next up, Detroit Lions coming off a tough loss to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Lions are -3 at Arizona, who I think's overperforming. I'm taking the Lions to cover as road favorites in Arizona. And then the Kansas City Chiefs. This is an interesting line. Only 3-point favorites over the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. I think the Chiefs dominate that game. I don't think the Falcons are that good. They got lucky against the Eagles. Chiefs -3. So Colts -1.5, Lions -3, Chiefs -3. Those are my 3 fearless football.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me start with pros because I have the opposite rationale based on the line. How on earth could the Chiefs only be favored by 2.5, 3 points in this game? The Falcons are going to win the game. I'll take the Falcons plus the 2.5, 3, whatever it goes off.
Wait, and you think maybe even Falcons money line in this game?
I'm telling you, the Falcons could win it outright with that. That's a slender line, and the Chiefs have been living on the edge. So I'm going to take ATL in this game. I will also take the Chargers at the Steelers. They were a 2.5-point underdog going into Steeltown. It's down to 1.5. The Chargers also win the game outright.
Wait, Chargers are getting 1.5?
Chargers plus 1.5 down from plus 2.5.
All right, I like that.
That's a game winner for Jimmy Harbaugh. And now we get to college. All right, I'm going to give you 2 games here, which I can't believe that. The line change has been too significant for me to ignore. My play of the week will be Tennessee at Oklahoma. The Vols, at one point this week, were getting 3.5. They are now a 6.5-point favorite at Oklahoma.
So you're taking Tennessee?
I will take the Vols in a rout at Oklahoma. Now, here's the other one. I have never seen a line move like this in my life. I've never seen it. In the history of me looking at lines, betting games, USC at Michigan. USC at Michigan. It started USC getting 10.5. It is now USC -5, a more than 15-point line change. Heavy money is coming on the Trojans. I'm not going to put it in my pack because I only put 3, but look closely at this game because it looks like a USC going into Ann Arbor and routing the Wolverines.
That would be an interesting one. You love watching the line. You do love watching the line.
Dude, it speaks to me heavy. Now, just to go over some local things. Kent State is at Penn State this Saturday. Penn State is -48.5. But I don't think they're the type of team that goes 50+ to beat a team 55-0. So I don't know about that. I don't know. When I take Kent State, no, I don't have the guts to take Kent State. But I don't think I've ever seen Penn State 48.5 favored over somebody. Utah State, though, is coming to Temple. Ray, Temple is only a 6.5-point dog. Could the Owls win this game, Ray?
They could.
Are you going to be there?
I will not be there, no.
What?
No.
So, see? Look at this.
Not
even
Someone
Ray.
has to call the men's soccer game while the football game's happening in the
you're calling
afternoon.
the soccer game. All right, now here's another one for you Villanova fans. Villanova stepping into the FCS waters. They go to Maryland as a 17.5-point underdog. Can they cover against the Terps, Bill?
I don't know. I'm
going to take Nova to cover. They usually play pretty tough against these big schools.
That'd be a fun one to watch.
All right. There you go. There are our picks of the week. Wear them in good health. We got Tim McManus coming up at 1 o'clock. And I still want to get people, please do this for me as I go into the weekend. I need you to tell me why this is so unbearable for you to have an arena built in that Market Street area. I just need to know. I'll be a recording secretary. Why is it so appealing for you to have a new arena put where all those arenas are? Tell me why. Tell me what's appealing. What is the advantage of that?
Honestly, I'm telling you, it's got to just be nostalgia because there's no.
It's traffic. People are scared to death of this new arena because you hear, traffic. Well, what are you getting when you go down to the South Philly complexes?
Mike, do you remember last year during the postseason for the Phillies? There was something going on, and I forget. Ray probably remembers. There was some other event going on down there where people tried to get to the Phillies game, left on time, and I had friends posting they didn't get into the game until like the 6th inning. Ray, do you remember what was going on down there?
Game 2 of the NLCS was the same night as a friendly at Lincoln Financial Field and a preseason game, I believe, for the Flyers.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is what having all of them down there.
Exactly.
This is what you get.
Not only that, but I've been to many arenas throughout the country. There is no worse arena than the Wells Fargo Center for a Sixers game. You cannot get into the lot. I swear to God, if people get there by the tip-off, they've left at 4 o'clock. I have never experienced anything like it. It's the worst possible arena to get into. So I don't know what people are talking about. You'll get to the new arena 100 times quicker than to get to the other arena.
And the Sixers need their own arena. They can't be at the mercy of the scheduling anymore. I mean, you look at the Disney on Ice that happens every year between Christmas and New Year.
Uh-huh.
The Sixers have to go on the road every single year for an extended period of time so that Disney on Ice can be there.
Yeah. Now, do I believe it's going to be built? No, I don't. I don't believe it's going to be built. And if it's built, I'll be dead. So we're talking about 2032. So I got no skin in the game, except it's good for the city to have something new like that and unique.
Wait, you got 4 years. You got 4 years in you?
4 years.
I mean, wait, not 4 years.
2032.
2032. You don't have 8 years in you?
I don't know if I got 8 years.
You look good, God bless you.
I do. I feel terrible.
My grandma always hits you with you look good, God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you. But yeah, what the mayor did, I think people either are spooked by it or go, "Oh man, it's going to get near you." What the mayor did means nothing except they're not going to go to Jersey. That's what she basically meant. So the compromise will always be the more conservative thing, and they're going to have to bend the knee, and then they're going to have a new arena built down where everybody else has their arenas, and it's the same old thing.
That's your prediction? So you think a new Sixers arena, but in South Philly?
Yes. Just like the Phillies, when they tried to do this. They tried to build a stadium in the city. What happened? It petered out quickly because of opposition to it. Once you get opposition, you got to put your hands in the mind of Mark Scuola, who is the councilman down there. Now, he can't possibly accept this. With all the rancor that's down there, like he would never get reelected. So he's got to go along with it. Now, once he goes along with it, he's got to convince his other buddies to go along with it on council because they're going to have a proposal that they're going to need his support on. So one hand washes the other hand all the time, and you're not going to get enough votes in council to approve it.
I hope you're wrong. I really want to see it. I think it'd be so cool to have the arena down there. Again, and I feel bad if anyone in Chinatown is going to be displaced. I can't speak to that. But if there's a way,
there's always a compromise. Like
that's what I'm hoping. There's a way they could funnel
quid
money.
Pro quo.
Yeah.
You give us this, we'll give you this. We're gonna, we'll build this. I don't know, man. It's not gonna happen. This city is not progressive enough for that to happen. It's just not, and it burns my rear end. To be honest with you,
chaps your ass.
It chaps my That's my ass.
Your arse.
Yeah. I want something different, something unique. It's something unique. Things make the city stand out better.
And in addition to having the Sixers there, you'd get concerts and shows. I think it would be very cool. You know who's against it? Big time.
Jason Kelsey.
Well, not just Kelsey. Your other BFF.
Who's that?
The unwanted kiss.
Oh,
very against.
Who cares about him? He doesn't have enough smarts to figure it out. He was also a guy. That was the.
Well, he said there's no good places to eat in Center City.
He's such an idiot. I mean, that was the storied argument we had on the air when I walked out of the building. I couldn't stand it because I was going to kill him.
What, over this?
Oh, with the Phillies stadium. He had the same view on the Phillies stadium.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the story. I'll tell you the story. This is the inside story I was going to say for my book. This idiot that I'm working with.
Not me.
No, at the time, that guy. I'm trying to explain to him how unique it would be to build that stadium in Center City. And he goes, there'd be crime. I go, hey, well, this is the one thing you don't understand. You ever heard of the concept of urban renewal? Of course, you never heard of it. So I go, well, urban renewal is when you actually renew. And you build infrastructure and lighting and sidewalks, and it becomes a beautiful place instead of somewhere where there's going to be crime. Well, I don't know what you mean. I go, okay, so now I have to bring it down to an elementary school level. I go, okay, this guy, I'm arguing with a fifth grader here. So I go, okay, if you're a car thief and you find a Honda way down in North Philadelphia where it's dark towards Temple, or a Honda parked on the street where there's lights and infrastructure and all that, which car is the car thief going to steal? You know what his answer was? Well, Honda's not the most stolen car. Lexus is. I go, what in the hell is wrong with you? It was like arguing with a third grader. What kind of an answer is that?
It's a way to not have to answer your question is what it was.
But see, I brought Honda up for a reason because I had remembered at the time that people were stealing Hondas for their parts.
Yes.
And so the Honda popped into my head as a car thief's going to steal a Honda. This idiot countered with, no, Lexus is the most stolen car because he was driving a freaking Lexus. That's the type of douchebag he is.
Oh, DB or not DB? You got to play that game again.
No, I meant that every word of that.
Yes. Yeah, but he's obviously he took the bait. He's against it. He's reading all the propaganda out there.
He's got a brain the size of a pea.
But I'm with you. I think it'd be awesome.
Let's go to Aaron in Lansdale. Aaron, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Aaron?
Hey, Mike. How's it going?
What's going on, Aaron? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. Just want to talk a little bit about the Eagles and the expectations that we had on them. Because I mean, before the season, I think most of the city kind of had the Eagles as a, if not Super Bowl or bust, pretty close to that. But I think we need to reevaluate, where we think the team really is. I think this is a team that maybe is really truly more of like a 9 to 10 win team. That we hope we can win the division, get to the playoffs, versus like, oh, we need to win the Super Bowl or
I think you're absolutely right, Aaron. They can win the division with 10 wins, though. The way this is shaking out with the Cowboys, and there's nobody else in the division, so they can win with 10 and a tie break.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree. I'm just thinking.
But you're right. I don't think they're a 12, 13 win team that's going to be a high seed in the playoffs.
But you look at the schedule. I know what Aaron's saying about maybe the Eagles aren't as good as people thought, but you look at some of the teams on this schedule, they're not as good as you may have thought.
But that makes this a must-win, Aaron, right? Because now you got Tampa Bay the following week. If they go 1-3, Bill, what are you then thinking?
At 1-3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I think they need to win one of these next two. I would say, if a little bigger picture, got to come out with a win between Tampa and New Orleans.
No, it keeps hope alive. One of the next two at 2-2.
Yeah.
It's still not ideal, but it keeps you in the shallow end of the pool a little bit.
Yeah, because I think part of it is also like the defense. There's a lot of in every layer, from the D line to the linebackers to the secondary. There's a lot of young guys we're relying on, first, second, and third year players. I imagine they're going to play better week 12 than they did, versus week 1 and 2.
No, I agree. I don't know. I just think this is going to be a W for them, and I can't point to anything scientific. I just have a hunch.
Hey, Mike, we got to hurry up and get to Spanky.
Oh, Spanky.
He's getting married.
Spanky, he's in the process of getting married. He promised he was going to call Spank.
What's up, Mike?
Spanky, you walking up the steps?
No, I'm good. We about to leave out the door in a couple minutes. I wanted to call you now because I know it's going to be hectic when I get in front of that church.
Yeah, you nervous, Spank? You all right?
No, Mike, I'm not really nervous because she's been my best friend for 20 years.
Oh, that's
We've been together
nice.
for 8. And I'm gonna give you a quick story. You ain't gonna believe it, but
Yeah.
you know when my lady passed away, she been my best friend since 2004, right?
Yes.
Never disrespected our relationship, nothing like that. She was truly my best friend.
Yeah.
One of my best friends. And then while I was together, she was single. Then when my lady died, she was with somebody. Then he died 2 years later, and I went and got her. And we've been together.
Wow, that's a nice, happy ending story, Spanky. Are you looking clean right now? What do you got on? What are you wearing for?
Well, right today I got on. I'm gonna have on some white slacks, some white dress pants, a nice shirt, and some shoes. Tomorrow I'm gonna be clean as a whistle, Mike. I'm gonna be clean.
So what's tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow? Do you have reception?
So today is just. We just doing it in front of our kids and our close friends and family. You know what I mean?
That's nice, man. So tomorrow's the party.
Tomorrow is the party, and I don't even want to call it a reception, Mike, because I'm kind of a lively dude, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to be called a party. I mean, a reception. I really wanted it to be called like a celebration of us, and that's the way I wanted to feel. Mike, it's gonna be off the hook.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
I'm so happy for you, Spank. Now, how many people will be joining that party tomorrow?
150.
Oh, man.
It's pretty big.
It is. Where are you going to have it? Because I'm crashing it.
Right there. I told you, right down to the street at the Marriott Courtyard.
Oh, okay. Marriott Courtyard.
Yeah,
I'm crashing.
We're going to be here from 4 to 9. And listen, I would have loved to came and saw you at Fan Fest because, that's usually where I catch you at.
Yes.
But because I'm taking her to Aruba that Saturday for our honeymoon, I can't be there.
Wait a minute. You think Aruba is better than FanFest?
Yeah, I just did my honeymoon in Aruba.
No, listen. I gotta work that day, and it's gonna be cutting me close to get down.
Oh, no, listen, man. I totally understand. You have fun with your lady, man. And I wish you nothing but happiness for the rest of your life, brother, with this.
Mike, you got an email address, right?
Yes. Mike Miss, send me a photo. Mike Miss at bbgi.com.
At bbgi.com.
Correct.
Mike Miss. All right, I'm going to send it to you, Mike.
Yo, Spank, real quick, before you go, I just went on my honeymoon in Aruba. If you can, take your new bride to the Flying Fish Bone in Aruba. You eat right in the water. It's a beautiful place,
cool.
but look it up. You got to get reservations usually.
Because we're staying at the Rio Palace Antigua, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I saw it, man. You're going to have a great trip. Congratulations, man.
I appreciate y'all, man.
All right, best of luck, Spanky. God bless you.
And look forward to the pictures.
All right, man, you got it. The great Spanky. Get married.
Happy
Minutes
for him.
before the ceremony.
Yeah, how about that? Checking in with the show.
You got to love that.
That's awesome. But I'm happy for him. You're right. You told me the story and everything. What a great story.
Yeah. All right, so Tim McManus will join us. We'll handicap this game through the eyes of an expert, what he sees. And, of course, he's been witness to all the Sirianni turmoil, which didn't really surface today. But we'll talk to Timmy Mack coming up after this. on Football Friday on the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. And 1 o'clock hour is brought to you by Ferguson HVAC, Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors. For equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job, visit one of Ferguson's counter locations. They're in Bensalem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. All right. The Eagles are not in good stead right now based off of what happened last week. And then they go and to play this team in New Orleans that all of a sudden is lighting it up. But for some reason, I think they're going to rebound in this game. But our next guest is going to tell us how that's possible because he covers the team for ESPN, ESPN.com. He's on our Comcast Business Hotline. He, of course, is the great Tim McManus. Timmy Mac, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Mike. So I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm standing about 300 yards away from the practice facility right now. And the Eagles have the simulated fan noise going through their speakers, clearly turned all the way up because I've never heard it from this distance before. So obviously, they're simulating the crowd noise that they're expecting at the in New Orleans.
Yeah, he alluded to that in his press conference today. What's the state of the team right now? And they're going to probably be without a couple. I don't know if C.J. Gardner-Johnson's going to play. I don't know if A.J. Brown's going to play. What's the latest on that? And how are they set for this game?
Well, it's not looking good for either of those players. We were just out on the practice field a few minutes ago, and no A.J. Brown, no C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Normally, on Friday, a player isn't on the practice field. That suggests that they're not going to be available for the game. And that's just kind of, Brown even said that to Lisa Salters on the Monday Night Football broadcast that he expects to be out a couple weeks, sort of checking behind the scenes that, that was firmed up, that he's not expected to. And they have to make a decision now. It's because they have the Saints and then they have the Bucks next week and then a bye. It's like, what do you do? Do you bring Brown back for that one game and then go into the bye, or do you take it an extra kind of cautionary step? But the word that I got is that he's not in like bad shape. They're just being kind of cautious about this, given the fact that it's early in the season. But now facing a pretty critical game, and it doesn't look like Gardner Johnson's going to be out there either. He popped up on the injury report with a foot injury yesterday, and kind of is trending towards him not playing.
Tim, when you look at this game, I mean, the Saints have been doing great work on what the Eagles have not been doing great work on. So, and Fangio talked about it, and he said it's not scheme, it's execution. I don't know. What do you see? Is he going to change some things here to stop the run? They're giving up 6 yards a pop, and he said if you don't stop the run, you're not going to get the sacks. So, like, how's this all shake out?
Yeah, one thing that I asked him is whether he was considering not starting Huff. The reason I asked that is because if you watched that game, you saw that Huff was struggling pretty bad when it came to the run, and Atlanta was doing the outside zones, and the defensive end's responsibility or the outside linebacker's responsibility in that circumstance is to set the edge to make sure that the run pops inside. And Huff was really struggling with that, including against tight ends. Like there were snaps where tight ends were pushing him and moving him off his spot well into the inside, allowing the running backs to pop it out for some big gains. And they're going against a kind of a very similar offensive concept that they saw against Atlanta in New Orleans, where there's going to be the run and the play action and the boots, and they're going to try to attack you in a very similar way. And certainly after watching the tape last week, you can bet they're going to get a healthy dose of outside zones to see if they can stop it. But, Mike, I think this is less about, like, scheme and more about personnel right now. Like, you make changes, but what changes are you making? Like, are you putting in Nolan Smith for Huff? Is that going to be, much different? Do you have anybody at the linebacker position that you think is going to come in? Like, do you think Trott is going to come in and make a sizable difference versus Nakobe Dean or Zach Vaughn? They're just thin at some, they're thin at a number of spots. Defensive end is definitely one of them. Inside linebacker is definitely one of them. Safety, where they have an injury now, is definitely one of them. So it's almost like, where do you turn?
It's funny because he's a very honestly outspoken guy, and I think he was making a conscious effort not to rip in any of his players, but it seemed like almost false faith that these players they're improving, and I like what Huff did, and blah blah blah. That didn't come off as Fangio-like what he was talking about the other day.
Yeah, and Jeff McClain asked him, is it possible that this group is just too young and inexperienced to play at a high level. And Fangio started off kind of saying, well, it doesn't mean just because they're young that they can't play. But as he veered through that conversation, that answer, he ended up saying, well, maybe. Maybe that's the case. So, I thought that was pretty telling. And also, the remark to me was when he was asked about Zach Vaughn and the fact that he kept getting cut blocked by Lidstrom, and Fangio's like, that's the first time he's ever faced that. Like that again goes back to personnel. Like they ended up bringing in a guy who ended up being their starting linebacker who had not really played the off-ball linebacker position in the NFL. So you're going to see things that you hadn't seen. So there's naturally going to be, growing pains as a result of that. And when you have that at multiple spots, Bryce Huff's another one. He hasn't played the run in the NFL, and you paid him $17 million a year to be a 3-down player. Like, this is roster construction stuff. Like, this is Howie Roseman stuff, man. This defense, if it ends up being porous all year, it's still early, so we have to factor that in. But if it ends up being porous all year, the finger's going to be pointed to Howie Roseman.
Wow, this is going right up Bill's alley.
Yeah.
Bill, go ahead. He's giving you a treat.
Preacher choir, Tim. I've been saying that for 2 years now because I looked at last year's defense and felt the same way about Howie Roseman. But look, we talked about the run defense. You talked about the pass rush. Let's talk about the passing game for the Saints a little bit because everyone knows about Chris Olave, but Rashid Shaheed is averaging over 24 yards a catch this season. If Chauncey Gardner-Johnson can't play, who's going to be the nickel corner that's going to be lined up across Rashid Shaheed?
Yeah, I talked to Quinion Mitchell this week about Shaheed, and he just said he's fast. Like, he's a total burner, and he's been making a big impact through the first 2 weeks. And so he's somebody that has made his presence felt. And then you have Olave, so they have their plate full on the back end, and they do have a little bit of a quandary. I think that if Gardner-Johnson is out, the move is to put Avonte Maddox at safety. That seems like a logical move for Vic Fangio. Then the question is, do you move Mitchell inside and put Rodgers back outside, which is a look that we saw, especially down the stretch of training camp. Like, that's something that we saw a whole lot of, or do you promote Cooper DeJean into that nickel spot? But, Fangio's actions to this point doesn't suggest that he thinks that DeJean is fully ready because he played him, it was like 6 snaps the first week, and that got reduced to 1 snap in week 2. But it feels like he still has some work to do. It's a little bit of a pickle because Mitchell has played so well on the outside, and those receivers are mostly going to be lining up on the outside, the 2 guys we just highlighted. So it's a bit of a tough spot. But if he's looking to get, how do I get my 3 best sort of proven guys out there or guys that I feel most comfortable with, I would think that would be Rodgers and Mitchell on the inside. But, we're going to see how it unfolds once come game day.
We're talking to Tim McManus. He covers the Eagles for ESPN, ESPN.com. All right, Tim, listen, there's a few wolves at the door. I have a headline in front of me. It says, Nick Sirianni has been defiant since that awful Eagles loss. If he's not careful, it could cost him his job. Now, I frankly thought it was a good call. I thought it was a progressive call. It wasn't conservative, but he is getting hammered everywhere. What is your thought process on this?
I mean, number one, this is a difficult spot, generally speaking, that Nick Sirianni is in. Because of the way that the collapse happened, because however you want to say it, whether he gave up power over the offense or it was taken from him, there's just not a whole lot of lanes for him to have control over. Game day operation is one of them, and he puts, a whole lot of work into that. I would say that the one thing that was problematic about his response when it came to those situations, not when we talked to him today, but the last time on Wednesday, when he was asked for that 4th down where he ended up kicking a field goal late in the game, like, what does the internal analytics chart say to do there? And he said, well, my chart said to go for it, to kick it. And, you can punch in any numbers and they'll give you something. So that was kind of downplaying analytics a little bit and saying, but I put, I trust my process. But the Eagles put, a ton of resources into analytics. Like, this isn't just punching a number into a computer. Like, this is a wing of the operation internally. And so the problematic part for Sirianni is if he deviates from it and it doesn't go well, then that presents the possibility of friction or conflict internally. And he's already in kind of a tough spot to begin with, given the circumstances. Like, I think everybody knows that he's coaching for his job. And so if you're going against the grain in that way, then maybe that poses some further friction. But he felt convicted about what he's doing. He said that if I had to do it again, like I went back and reviewed and I feel even more convicted in it. And he's going to stick to it that way. And, that can go one of two ways for him.
Yeah, that's a terrible landscape to have to coach in, though, isn't it? I mean, sometimes you got to rely on instincts. He followed the analytics early in the game, which people had a problem with when he didn't kick the field goal. And now when he made a value judgment, I mean, it's almost like the guy can't win. Listen, I'm no fan of his, but right now I think he's in a really unfair spot.
Yeah, but Laurie has been very clear on this point when it comes to the analytics. Like when he spoke with us, it was right before their Super Bowl run in 2017, and he made it a point like, listen, we have this analytics stuff mapped out, and I expect any coach of mine to kind of follow that. And Doug Peterson did to a T. He had an analytics guy in his ear for the entirety of that year, and it was basically like, Doug, here's what you're doing, and Doug would ride with that, and he had a lot of success with that. And that's just kind of the way that they're dialed here. And so, yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Mike. Like most coaches, I feel like have that wiggle room of like, yeah, I hear the analytics and I'm going to go this way. And it's not like I'm saying that the organization is putting his feet to the fire here. But what I am saying is they've been very clear in their messaging as the way they want it to go. And so if you go away from that, then what does that mean?
Do you have any inkling that they came at him because of that decision? Not yet.
No, I don't have anything solid in reporting that I can pass along. But it's on the radar. I mean, and you're right. It's a tough situation for Sirianni. Like even in that Monday Night Football game, like I had the binoculars down on the field before the game, and like Belichick's there. And Matt Patricia's there. And it's like, what is, there was the rumors of, I mean, and they're obviously doing it just for something separate for football purposes. I'm not saying that, but it's just, we know that the way that it ended last year, we know that there was Belichick rumors. We know that once you get rid of both of your coordinators, that there's no one else to look at except for the head coach. So it is a tough spot that Sirianni is in right now. I mean, it just is. And, if they continue to lose, obviously the heat gets turned up.
Timmy, always a pleasure. I don't know. My instincts are the Eagles are going to win this game. I don't know if you feel the same way.
My instincts aren't there.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to am I overreacting to one loss, which could have very easily been a win.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to picture the defense in that environment, suddenly clicking in against a team that scored 91 points in 2 weeks. Like, can they do it? And, just right now, I just can't get there. So I'm thinking New Orleans in this game.
Sounds good. Timmy Mack, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you.
All right.
That's Tim McManus, ESPN.com on the Comcast Business Hotline. I actually agree with him that if I am coming to my senses, they won't win this game. But the 2.5-point line is just, I can't ignore it. And if I took the Saints, I'd be ignoring it. And I have to stick to my guns on how I read lines. I think they're going to win the game.
We'll get our predictions, our score predictions, but I'm with you. I think they're going to win this game too. And if you just look at the first two games, then you would say you're crazy.
Yeah.
But I think if you really dive deep into it, I think you have to look at the opponents the Saints have played. I think you have to look at the style of offense that the Saints play. And I think Fangio's going to be able to come up with something to limit the run and they got to score early. And then if that happens, it'll play into now the Saints having to throw the ball. The Saints want to run the ball. Take away the run, force Derek Carr to beat you, and I don't think he can.
All right, 610-632-0975. You want to climb in? It is the Mike Missanelli Show. Back after this. Mike Missanelli show. So our next caller wants to talk Aruba. So you liked Aruba? You give it a thumbs up?
Yeah, it was my first time. We went for our honeymoon back in June.
Isn't it
Perfect
Aruba
weather,
where
man.
you had that mystery murder thing?
It is. Natalie Holloway.
And
Is that her name? Holloway?
Joran Van Sloot.
Who turned out to kill someone else, too.
Yeah, he was a bad guy.
Bad dude.
Yeah.
No, we actually we watched that documentary about that whole murder before we went to Aruba.
Uh-huh.
But Aruba seemed like a very safe place when you were there, and the weather's perfect, and the water is just like the perfect temperature. Beautiful place, and great food, too.
All right. I've never been to Aruba.
Ricky Batalico's favorite place.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
It takes too long to get there, doesn't it?
No, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Direct flight from Philly. I think it was like 4.5 hours or something.
Been to other places. But let's go to Andy on a cell. Andy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Andy.
Hey, Mike, first of all, go to Aruba. But I'm going to make a football point, and then I'm going to go back to the flying fish bone and what Bill had said earlier. First of all, everybody needs to relax about the Eagles. We are 1-1. Nobody expected that the 1-1 happened the way it did. But did anybody else think that we were going to go down to the NFC South and sweep 2 road games? So no, 2-2, and then the break. And we got 6 division games. We're good. We will win the division, which means you get a home game. And just everybody, I hate to quote Aaron Rodgers because he's such a goofball, but relax. We're fine.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about the fine thing because, at the end of the day, you got to evaluate how talented that defense is. And right now, I don't know. Like, if I start with the ends, I go, are they ever going to get a pass rush with the personnel they have?
Maybe not. Maybe Fangio needs to change his.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I'm looking at the long haul, if you can't get a rush on the quarterback in this day and age, then you're sunk.
Yeah, you're dead. Absolutely. But that being said, there's going to be a point where the Eagles are consistently putting up 30, 35 a game. Can we hold them to 28 or less and win a game? I think so.
I agree with that. I think you might be right about this particular game. Now, if they win this game, do they rebound and go and win in Tampa Bay?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's a way better quarterback than people think he is.
I think he stinks. I hate Baker.
Well, you might hate him, but he.
Yeah, he hates Aaron Rodgers too. Don't worry about it, Andy.
At
Bill hates Aaron Rodgers.
40-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Now, Baker Mayfield, come on, man. He's going to come back down to earth. He's had a couple good games. He stinks.
Okay. All right. So here we go with Flying Fishbone. Bill, I was driving when you said that, I almost wrecked my car because I was so happy you said this. I got home and I wanted to dial in. And for who's the guy that's getting married tomorrow? It's
Spanky. Yeah.
And if he's listening to this, and Bill, you are absolutely right with the Flying Fishbone. Make reservations before you leave the United States.
Correct.
Take a look at the internet and see when sunset is. And then book your table 45 minutes before sunset, and then ask for a table where your feet is in the water.
Yes, Andy knows. It's an incredible experience.
Hold it a second. You eat in the water?
You actually eat in the water. I'll show you pictures during the break. They literally set up the tables. I don't know how the tables don't
So
just...
your legs are in the water.
Yeah, you're sitting in the
You're not
water.
swimming and eating, right?
No, it's like up to your ankles. But it's like this... It's like a slab of rock that they put out into the water, and the tables are set up in the water. And he's right. You watch the sunset, and the food's phenomenal. The service is phenomenal. It's just a great place. Flying Fishbone, it's called. But you do have to make reservations early because they sell out for the tables in the water. It was a lovely experience.
Yeah.
But it's far from the...
Last time I was in the Caribbean was a couple years ago, Turks and Caicos.
Never been.
Very nice. It's nice.
So now, I like Jamaica.
Sitting at a bar in Turks and Caicos, and some guys, he's trying to tell other people that he's trying to talk about Philadelphia. Like he's trying to be the tour guide of Philadelphia.
Who
and
was?
everything. This guy at the bar, he was from the Philadelphia suburbs, because I heard him say, like, Upper Bucks County.
Wait, did he recognize you or you're just listening?
No, he didn't recognize me. I was just listening from afar. And he's going on and on about all the sections of the city and how, well, this place is damn. And everything he had was wrong. Everything he said was wrong. He was just an obnoxious punk.
Yeah. Did you call him out on it?
No, I usually do, but I didn't in this time.
You were on
I'm
vacation.
just kind of eyeballing him. I'm just like looking at him. In case he makes eye contact with me, I was going to go, dude. Yeah. Yeah. But the people he was telling looked at me and I went,
no, he's wrong.
yeah, I gave one of those.
He's wrong. Oh, was he giving like best places to eat and stuff?
Yeah,
too?
but in this section here, but it's really dangerous. I'm like, it's not dangerous at all. Like, what are you even talking about, you suburban punk?
Suburban punk. You know, I don't like to call people punk, but I got to call out one of our YouTube chat.
What do you got? What's the problem?
This Chris Miller comes at me all the time. Says I'm a homer all the time about the Eagles. And now he's coming at me because he's saying Baker Mayfield is better than Jalen Hurts.
No, he's not better, Jalen.
Yeah, Chris, come on. Baker Mayfield
Chris.
stinks.
Come on, Chris. That's silly. 610-632-0975. Text board is open. Coming down the home stretch. Back after this. The odds say, well, what are they going to do against this team that's rolling up 40 points a game with this defense that can't stop the run? And not only that, but the running back catches passes out of the backfield. They've got a burner who scores 70-yard touchdowns, and they got Chris Olave. The Eagles are giving up 6 yards per carry in the run. They're getting good outside rushing from Chase Young and Carl Henderson. 7 pickers of the 10 on the NFL Network picked the Saints. Why am I so optimistic?
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
So you factor that into the fact that you have a defense that struggled, the Eagles, against the run. The Saints, who have run the ball better than anybody. Alvin Kamara's averaging 5.7 yards a carry. I don't know why you would be so optimistic, but the crazy thing is, so am I.
Really? I don't get it. Because Fangio's not a box loader.
No, but he's going to be. That's why I think, Mike, the reason I may be more optimistic is I think Fangio, I think he's a smart enough defensive coordinator that now that there's tape out on this Clint Kubiak offense that the Saints like to run, he's got 2 games worth of it, that he's going to be able to do something to take away some of the running game, hopefully.
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, it's at 1:35, and is Diddy still in jail? I believe he is.
I don't think he's not going to make bail.
He's still in jail. Well, he offered a $50 million bail, and they turned it down. So he's still in jail at the time. But I'm just reading a story now that he has a lot of meal options. Since he's a rather wealthy person, he'll have access to a lot of things that you can buy at the commissary, Bill.
They offer that in jail?
You can buy at the commissary. You can buy macaroni and cheese, chocolate-covered pretzels, granola bars, mixed nuts, instant grits, Spam, Oriental-style chicken soup, tuna, crackers, and much more. However, you have a $160 spending limit.
How much?
On those items.
160?
160. Well, he's worth $400 million.
Yeah, but
I'm sure he'll have 160 on him.
Everything you just mentioned, the 160 could get you like 50 of them.
Well, I don't know.
Macaroni and cheese? How much is macaroni and cheese?
Who knows what the commissary prices are? They're probably high. Right? It wouldn't be cheap. You want to make it. You're not going to give them every advantage. But he also apparently has a sweet tooth. But he can get this there: Chips Ahoy, chocolate cream stuffed cookies, mini peanut butter cups, Hershey's candy bars, and Snickers.
I wonder how much they charge you for that.
He's also allowed to purchase pre-cooked items, including stuffed chicken with rice, eggplant parmesan, rib steak, and bone-in chicken.
What do you think the eggplant parm is like in jail?
Eggplant parm, $5.
Can't be good.
I got the prices here.
It's only $5?
$5 and steak, $9 for a rib steak.
Probably just as good as you can get it at the best steak.
Most expensive items under the hygiene: 3-pack of Gillette razors, $9.95. Shower clogs, very essential, $7.15.
Wait, where are you getting this information?
This is from a story in the New York Post. The Post never lies to you, right?
Yeah, but that's interesting. That's not that expensive. Diddy's worth like $1 billion.
400 mil, I just said.
I know. I said like $1 billion. I was listening.
400. Is it 400 billion?
No, I said like $1 billion.
Million.
It's an expression. Sorry, 400 million.
400 million.
He could be able to buy all.
No,
that
I'm just
stuff.
maybe I got it wrong. Is it 400 million? Yeah, it's 400 million. All right.
Yeah, but he should be able to afford all
I just thought I'd throw that out there. He's getting broiled on social media, man. A lot of videos are surfacing. A lot of audio surfacing.
What would if you were in jail? Final meal. What are you asking for?
Final meal?
Yeah, what are you going with?
What, like if I'm death row?
Yeah, death
They're
row.
taking me to the gala?
You got one final meal
I'm not
in you.
sure I'd be that hungry, to be honest with you. I don't think I could sit down and really dig in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you're a food connoisseur.
I don't really
what would be your final
I don't really have a go-to. I really don't. In that situation, maybe I go chicken parm with a side of spaghetti. But it's got to,
Now, if there's bread left on the table.
It's got to come from
If there was bread left on the table. You taking it with you to the electric chair, or do you leave the bread? Is it cheap to take the bread?
Yeah, first of all, you're not supposed to. They can't have you eat close to death time.
So it's probably the day before?
You'll expire.
It's probably the day before.
No, it's several hours in advance. What are we talking? How did we get on this?
Oh, you're talking about mac and cheese in jail. You brought it up. Don't blame me.
Diddy.
Don't blame me.
You know, Diddy's in the news lately. We have some text. We have a funny Aruba text. Now, my buddy Ed just said that restaurant that you recommended is 3 thumbs up.
Yeah, it was an excellent place.
Okay, so Ray, what's the funny Aruba text?
It's funny to me because this is a first-time texter that decided to check in just by sending 3 different pictures of the restaurant that Bill suggested. There is no body of text here.
Oh, really?
It's just 3
photos?
pictures of that restaurant from Aruba.
You know what's crazy is I said that, the Flying Fishbone. The caller earlier rushed home just to call in to talk about the Flying Fishbone. Mike's got people texting him. We got texters sending in their pictures. People really enjoyed their experience at that place.
Aruba's a nice place.
Did they give a name, the text?
No, literally no name, no text, just 3 pictures. It looks like pictures from the internet of the place, as if we are not the ones suggesting the place.
Well, we still appreciate you checking in through the text board.
Yeah,
and we got Eagles text, too?
Yeah, we got someone saying that this is like Sirianni battling for his coaching life this week. They have to beat the Saints. Tampa Bay is staring them in the face, and that is a terrible matchup for them. Then the bye week. 1-3 start, and it just feels like Sirianni will be gone. And they bring in someone else during bye to save season and try to win division.
Now, is that even possible? Like 1-3, they're not going to do it.
No.
And then there'll be a couple wins thrown in there, so they'll hover around 500. That's not even a possibility that they'll change coaches.
I just don't think it's in Jeffrey Lurie's MO to do that. He fired Chip Kelly with a game left, but that was Chip Kelly. I mean, things were an all-time disaster at that point. This isn't NHL hockey. You know, you're not going to fire a coach and expect your team to go on a little bit of a run. I just pray win on Sunday, quiet the noise a little bit, and then at that point, worst case scenario, even if you lose at Tampa, you're 2-2 at the bye, and then look at this, Mike. You come out of the bye versus Cleveland. Cleveland looks like they stink. Then you're at New York, stink. I'm feeling pretty good at 4-2.
Yeah.
Right? We would be all right. So we hope that the Eagles win on Sunday.
And if they don't, and they get housed, if they give up close to 40 in this game, it doesn't matter what the schedule looks like.
No, you're right.
I mean, this indicates a very bad defensive team.
No, you're definitely correct on that. But the thing with me right now is exactly what Tim McManus said. Like, if the defense lets up 40 damn points, how is that on the head coach? How is that not directed to the general manager for not putting the correct personnel on the field 2 years in a row on defense? Everyone wants to hate on Sirianni. I get it. If the team struggles this year, he should be gone. But we can't just absolve the general manager that put this defense together 2 years in a row.
No, you're right. Tim McManus brought it up. It was right in your wheelhouse. Howie Roseman did not do enough to fortify this team defensively, and now look where they are.
Yeah, you look at the draft picks, the free agent signings. This is why you're in the predicament you're in. Now, maybe they could turn things around. Maybe Bryce Huff somehow becomes a guy that you thought you were signing from New York. Maybe some of these younger players step up. It just didn't look good the first 2 weeks.
All right, Phillies and Mets tonight. The Mets are favored, -115. Christopher Sanchez against David Peterson, who's pitched extremely well. He's another one of those nibbling left-handers, but his ERA is under 3 against Christopher Sanchez, who has to pitch on the road. How you feeling tonight about your Phils and Mets?
Man, I'd like to see Sanchez have a nice road performance. That would make it a little bit easier to say, you know why, he's going to be the Game 3 starter in the playoffs. But I don't know. He's been – it's unbelievable the difference between him at home and on the road.
Yeah, it is. Well,
what's this?
People are going to be panicking if they lose again to the Mets tonight.
What's the
-115?
All right, so it's
the
not
Mets.
that
No,
drastic.
it's not. It's a slight favorite. I like the Phillies tonight.
Yeah,
I like
think
them
too.
to bounce back.
Yeah, bounce back after last night. You think Harper goes yard tonight?
I don't know. We
What's
have
the
any,
home run?
Do we have any home
odds?
run odds? Yeah, check it out. Ray's on it.
Yeah, I don't have any.
With the home run odds.
I got nothing on FanDuel. They're not giving me home run odds.
I can usually get it, but I don't have my app up. My Bet Rivers app.
I don't know if someone forgot to pay the Wi-Fi bill around here. It's taking forever.
Oh, it is?
Well, we had a little bit of an issue with the YouTube crashed earlier, but we are back. We've been back.
Yeah, so we apologize for that YouTube crash today.
But we've been back.
Yes.
So, all right, Mike, you're predicting a Phillies win tonight, but more importantly, you've been saying all day Eagles win on Sunday. You got a score in mind?
I do have a score in mind. I'm going to go Eagles 27 and the Saints 24.
So you're going over, too, because it's a 49.5 over.
Yes.
We're pretty close on our scores. I also have the Eagles putting up 27 tonight. But I think they're going to hold the Saints to only 20 points.
Wow, 27-20.
I think they win 27-20. And I think Vic Fangio, maybe this is more of a hope, but this is what I truly believe, that this man who was touted as being this great defensive coordinator is going to earn that this weekend and put together a game plan to stop the New Orleans Saints offense. He's going to take away the run, force Derek Carr to beat you, and he's not going to be able to do it. 27-20, Eagles win. 2-1. The noise quiets around my boy Nick Sirianni for another week.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
A lot of good, Ray.
Sounds good. It is now time for our closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit lowenthalabrams.com.
All right. This is not going to be a closing argument on the Eagles. I've already predicted they're going to win. I just have a hunch they're going to win. My closing argument is on the Phillies and their fifth starter dilemma. The people that hammered Rob Thompson last night, I don't get you. I really don't get you. I think we need to put a little more thought into what's going on here with the fifth starter. They are trying to scrape to get to the finish line so they can avoid this fifth starter dilemma. Did it put them in a bad spot that they didn't have an adequate fifth starter, either from acquisition or in their minor league? Yeah. But the fact that they sent Taijuan Walker out there last night was an act of no other alternative. Who would you have put out there? Taijuan Walker had 3 decent innings the last time he pitched. That, believe it or not, that small sample was enough to trust him over anybody else they could have put in there, including Kobe Allard, who they look at and go, I'm better off with Taijuan Walker than Kobe Allard, which tells you all they need to know about Kobe Allard. But it doesn't matter, folks. And Rob Thompson's decision to send him out there doesn't matter. The Phillies are going to end up with a 1 or 2 seed, and they're going to get a bye, and everything's going to be wonderful. And I don't even care if they slip down to the 2 seed, because going to Los Angeles in the NLCS doesn't worry me at all as far as home field advantage. So lay off Topper, would you please, with this fifth starter? He has no other choice, no other option.
Well said, Michael. And he has no other option because Dombrowski didn't give him one. Appreciate everybody listening.
Thanks for sending us into the weekend with that.
That's all you got?
There is no other option, and I agree with you.
That's it.
That's all I got.
That was it. Closing argument. That was it for you.
Wait, you want me to?
Well, I don't know. I thought you have a little more, don't you?
No, I actually agree with everything that you're saying.
Oh, so this, in other words, you're too tired, and that's the end of the show, and you don't have anything else.
I got nothing left. You beat me down this week.
You had 2 less hours.
I know. We had a nice, easy show.
It was a short week after you play Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I'm just trying, before we get out of here, I want to get the batter home run odds. Here we go. The favorite tonight, Kyle Schwarber at plus 450.
Wow, that's pretty good odds.
Pete Alonso plus 475. J.D. Martinez plus 500. Mark Vientos plus 525. Bryce is plus 540. You like that?
It's worth a $10 bet.
I think it is worth a $10 bet. Bryce at plus 540. I think I'll play that.
All right, so I will too, but I got to get the odds on here on FanDuel. I'm not getting them. But all right, $10 on Harper to hit a home run. Now, do you feel confident enough? Are you betting the Eagles game or no?
Yes.
And you're taking the points with the Eagles, or you going money line? Because if you think they're going to win, you're going to get a lot better odds with the money line.
I'm going to bet it straight up. I think they're going to win the game outright. And of course, my other picks for the week, I'm taking the Chargers plus 1.5 to win the game in Pittsburgh, and I'm taking the Falcons plus 3 to win that game outright and pull the upset of the week to beat the Chiefs.
And that's where we're opposite, because I got the Chiefs -3, the Lions -3 over the Cardinals, and the Colts -1.5 over the Bears.
All right. And in college, Tennessee at Oklahoma, take the Vols. They are now a 6.5-point favorite at Oklahoma. Everybody, have a great weekend. Root on your Eagles. We'll talk about it Monday. Take care, everybody.